Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Makkot Perek Gimel Mishnah Aleph. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to start to discuss those who get lashes, right? Those who get Malkut. Now, Hanambam over here, and really, he's awesome, especially in these areas. He gives a great introduction as to what types of mitzvot lo ta'aseh are there, and he categorizes it for us. And he's going to categorize it to the point where we can understand which mitzvot lo ta'aseh your person will get malkut for, will get lashes for, and which he will not. Okay, so it's a little bit of a lengthy intro, but this really categorizes so much of what we're doing. First, and he says, you must know these klalim before I go on. Firstly, anytime you hayav karet, or you hayav mitabi de shamayim, right? And you're violating a lo ta'aseh, if it's with edim, with witnesses, and with a warning, that person is chaya malkut. Now, if he gets malkut and he does teshuvah, okay, then he doesn't get karet, right? That's the benefit. Now we mentioned what you get karet for. We mentioned what you get, all the hayav mitah, sikilas, vahering, and chaynek. That was all in last masechet, right? Masechet Sanhedrin, the 9th perek, and right. Now, when we speak about in general, we have a general concept where a person doesn't get two punishments. That's not talking about malkut and karet, right? It's not talking about mitabi de shamayim and malkut also, right? That we know that you can get malkut, and with teshuvah, a person will absolve himself from the karet. Okay, now we know the mitzvot are categorized into two. There's mitzvot aseh and mitzvot lo ta'aseh. Mitzvot lo ta'aseh, how are they mentioned in the Torah? They can mention in different languages, right? Lo, right? Don't do so and so, or al ta'aseh so and so, or hitchamer, or pen, right? Anytime this is mentioned, we know it's a mitzvah lo ta'aseh. Now, there are four groups of mitzvot lo ta'aseh. Firstly, are ones that if a person does them, he'd be hayav mitah from the bet din. The second group is someone, if you violate them, you'd be hayav karet. The third one, if a person violates, will be chaya mitabi de shamayim. Now, both of these, the mitabi de shamayim and the karet, they can get whipped. They can get lashes for those two. Now, the fourth one is a more general, and that is hayave lavim. Anytime there's a lo ta'aseh in the Torah. Now, when there's a lo ta'aseh in the Torah, we'll see that there are some that you'll get malkut for, and some you won't. Rambam is now going to subcategorize, right? Subdivide. I listed all for those four categories here. But Rambam is now going to go subdivide the last category of the mitzvot lo ta'aseh into another 7. Now, from these last 7, right, 6 of these groups are not going to get malkut for this lo ta'aseh, and the last one will. Now, what are these? The first one is a lav shnitan lazarat mitat betin or lazarat karet. So you don't get malkut for that, right? When the pasuk says, right? So it's a warning. When the pasuk is speaking in warning, even though it says lo, like lo yikach ish et esh daviv, right? That's a warning. A person can't, sleep with his father's wife. There's karet for that. Why is this law being said in the Torah? It's a warning for that karet, right? Or lo yekadesh min bnei Israel, right? Or lo yelecha Elohim achirim al panai. You can't have other gods, right? All those. It's not just a lo ta'aseh. It's a warning for a karet. Okay, so if a person violates that, right? We know, a person, lo anush katuv elaim ken yisir, and this is the hatra. Right? This is the warning. The second group is lav shenitan letashlumin, a lo ta'aseh where you have to pay. So when the pasuk says lo tignovu, don't steal, if a person stole, he's not going to get malkut. No, he has to pay back what he stole. Or lo ta'ashok et racha, lo tigzol, right? Ochim timkinu mimkar la'amitecha, lo tonu, right? Don't no ona'ah, taking advantage. Right? Anyone that violates these have to pay back with money. What's the third group? Right? Lav she'en bo ma'aseh. Right? If there's a lo ta'aseh where there is no action being done. Sometimes it's just speech, like lo telech rachil be'amecha, lo tekalel haresh, right? Don't curse someone who's deaf, right? All these things, lo tonu ishtamito, right? So not devarim, right? So all these things, there's no action, so you're not going to be hayav malkut, except for 3. There are 3 exceptions to this. Hanabam mentions them over here: nishba, mamir, and mekalel havro b'shem. Right? Those are the 3. Also, someone curses himself, right? Those. except for those, right? So except for those three, you will not get malkut. We actually learned this from Rambam points out as Tosefta and Kiretot, which differentiates between en lokin and these are be'azhara. So we see there's a difference between lokin and azhara, right? There's a difference between lo ta'aseh and other things that you're not going to get malkut for. Now, what's the fourth thing? The fourth group is lav shenitak la'aseh. So this is interesting, right? En lokin alav. So if you have a lo ta'aseh, but you can fix the lo ta'aseh with a different mitzvat aseh. How so? By shiluach haken, let's say, right? Lo tikach ha'em ala banim. So you can't take the mother, right, with the children. Right? You can't take the mother bird with the children. That's a lo ta'aseh. Now, if a person did it, he took them all. Right? He took the mother bird and the baby chicks, took them all together. What does the pasuk say? Shalech teshalech etayim. Right? Send the mother bird free. That's to rectify, that's to fix if a person violated the lo ta'aseh, right? So you're not going to get malkut for violating that lo ta'aseh. You're going to get, right, just for the mitzvah ta'aseh and fix the problem. Now, if he caught it, held on to the bird, the mom bird until she died or ended up slaughtering her, right? Then he can no longer perform that mitzvah ta'aseh. Okay, so he'll be hayab malkut for that, right? Because he's mevatel the mitzvah ta'aseh, so he'll be hayab according to everyone. Or similarly, when the pasuk says "Lo techale pe'at tzadecha," right? Pe'ah and echalmecha lo te'odo u'ferek lo telaket, right? So olelot and peret, right? All these other mitzvot in the field, right? You're supposed to leave them for the aniyim. If a person didn't leave them, right? He says "Lo techale," don't destroy your the corner of your field pe'ah. Leave it for the don't destroy the pe'ah. And the pasuk says leave it for the aniyim. But when the pasuk says leave it for the aniyim, that's the fixing. Right, the way Rambam explains it is meaning, there's a lo ta'aseh, don't destroy the corner. If you did, it says, if you did go ahead and cut the corner, you did harvest it, now, how do you fix it? There's a mitzvah ta'aseh to fix the lo ta'aseh, leave it for the poor people. Or, v'shachachta omer basadeh, right, shicha, you're supposed to, again, leave it. Right? Leave it for the aniyim. Lo tavo lebeto la'avot avoto. Hashev tashiv lo et avot. Don't go inside to grab his collateral. Right? If you did, return it. Again, so all these things, there's a fix for the lo ta'aseh, so you don't get malkut for it. What's the fifth category? Achalek hamishi is lav haba mikelal aseh. Right? So when you could deduce the lo ta'aseh from the mitzvah aseh. Right? When it says by the Kohen Gadol, isha b'vtuda yikach. Right? He needs to marry a virgin. Okay, so you see from here, he's not allowed to marry someone who's not a virgin. But it doesn't say be'ula lo yikach. Therefore, if he married someone who was a be'ula, right, who was already slept with, then he's not going to be chayam malkut for it because it's only deduced. Or almana, grusha, or zona, halala, all these for the kohen, right? The kohen gadol, right? Again, he's not not allowed. Some for the kohen, right? Or let's say by the Mitzri and the Edomi, right? What does it say by them? Right? So the third generation, they can marry into Kahal Hashem, they can marry into the Jewish nation. What do we see by the first and second generation? They're not allowed to, right? That's you could easily deduce from that pasuk. But if a person violates that and marries one of the, a Egyptian first or second generation, he's not going to be Hayam Malkut because it's only deduced, right? Lo yavo mamzer, lo yavo amoni moavi. Right? All these are the same category. Achelek hashishi is lav shebichlalut. Right, so Rambam says this is probably the hardest to understand, but you're not looking on lav shebichlalut if it's a more of a category, if it's a more general lav. Now, what does this mean? What's the example? When the pasuk says lechem v'kali v'charmel lo tochilu, right? You can't eat, bread. Kalin, charmel, right? Roasted, unfinished, right? You can't have all these right before you bring the korban haomer. So what do we learn from here? Hadash mina tivua lo tochelu, right? That's what we learn from here. You can't eat hadash. Right? Now, if a person ate kali, you're not going to say he's hayab two malkut, one from kali and the other one because of hadash, because hadash is more of a general, right? So he gets one, right, for violating lo tochelu kali. And if you ate karmel, right, it says lechem kali vecharmel lo tochidu, right? So also, nazir, let's say the nazir, right? The nazir, it says he can't have mihartzan or zag, right? If he ate both of them, he ate hartzanim and zag, right? He ate the peels and the and then the inside pits. He's not going to be hayab two malkuyot, right? one for hartzan, and the second one because there's another pasuk that says mikol asher yaseh migefen hayayin, anything that's a derivative of grapes. Oh, so that one will be for the hartzan. Plus, he had derivative of grapes. I'll give him two. No, because it's lav shebichlalut. Right? Because if it would have said mikol asher yaseh migefen hayayin lo yochal mechartzanim ve'adzag lo yochel, right? Then you would say hayav two, one for the hartzanim, one for the anavim lachim, or the yeveshim, right? But that's not how it says. Rather, it represents it as a general, right? A general category, and therefore he's going to only be hayav one for each. Now the pasuk says also al tochelu imenu na ubashel mevushal b'mayim ki imtze esh by the korban pesach. Don't have it raw. Don't have it cooked. Rather, you should only have it roasted. Okay, so now if a person ate it raw, he's not going to be hayav two, one because he ate it raw and one because he did not eat it roasted, right? Because the second one of have it, that you should have roasted is the general, right? That's lab should be chlalut, right? Rather, it'll be hayav for na, if he had it raw, he'll be hayav malkut. If he had it, he'll be hayav malkut. Now, notice Rambam says, this is the hardest of all of them. Now, there's also another type of lav shebi klalut, and that is when you have 2 or 3 isurim from one pasuk lo ta'aseh, right? Lo tochilu al adam. When the pasuk says lo tochilu al adam, there's this lo ta'aseh actually includes many different lo ta'asehs. So we learn from here that you can't eat from an animal, right, before it's killed. You can't just, once you have to actually wait till, actually it dies, and then you can eat from it. And we also learned, lo tochal basar hazevach ve'adayin dam b'mizrak, right? You can't have from the korban when there's still blood that wasn't sprinkled on the mizbeach. Sprinkle the blood first. Lo tochilu al adam. We also learn from here that en mavrin al harugei betin. You can't eat, right, when you put someone in betin, put someone to death. Okay, so. Right, they can't eat that day. Right, that they put someone to death. Betim. Okay, so we learned 3 different lo ta'asehs from this one pasuk. This is lav shebichlalut also. Right. So you're not going to get. If a person violates any one of these 3, he's not going to get malkut for violating lo ta'aseh because that pasuk includes many different things. Okay, so that's the 6th category of lav shebichlalut. What's the 7th one? Lav greda, just a regular lo ta'aseh. That's what we're most familiar with. Sha'anez, kil'ayim, nevela, basar behalav. Tove ka'aka, seret nefesh, right? There's going to be a lot of them. Actually, our Perek is going to speak about a lot of them. Now, Rambam just sums up. So, what do we learn from here? What are the lo ta'asehs that you do get malkut for? That do get lashes. Okay, so you can get, if a person's hayav mitah b'shamayim, he'll get malkut for that. If a person's hayav karet, a lo ta'aseh, he'll get malkut for that. If he's hayav her lo ta'aseh, right? When it doesn't fall under one of the first 6, except for the 3 exceptions of Nishba and Memir and Mekalil Haviro B'Shem, right? Then all those, right? Right? Because those 3 they'll get Malkut for, even though there is no Maaseh. But everything else, right? They're not going to get a lo ta'aseh. Lavanitak la'aseh, if he did not fulfill the mitzvah aseh, right? So he violated the law, and then he also did not do the mitzvah aseh, then he will get malkut for that, as we mentioned also. And yeah. Now, what are we going to mention now, Perek upcoming? We're going to speak about all these mitzvot lo ta'aseh the person gets lashes for. So we're going to mention mechuyad mita, we're going to think, or karet, or right, that's going to be some of these, or a lav, just the regular lo ta'aseh. Right, like we mentioned that you get malkut for. Now we're not going to mention every single lo ta'aseh in this upcoming perek, because we're just not going to count them all. Right, we're going to give some important ones, some just mishalim, just some samplings, and if you follow all this introduction, you'll be able to figure out which lo ta'asehs you get malkut for and which ones you do not. Just point out, edim zoamim. Rambam just ends. Edim zoamim. Their speech is considered a maaseh, as we'll see over here in this Mishnah, because they have to speak in front of a beit din. Okay, now the Mishnah opens up. Now we get to the Mishnah. Elu hen alukin. These are the people that get malkut. Habalachotov, a person sleep with his sister. Balachot aviv, his father's sister, right? His aunt. Velachot imo, his aunt, his mom's sister. Velachot ishto, right? His wife's sister, right? So his sister-in-law. Vel eshet achiv, also his sister-in-law, but over here it's his brother's wife. Vel eshet achi aviv, right? His father's brother's wife. Ve'al nidaf, person sleeps with the nidaf, right? All these, right? These are all karet, right? But we see, even though you get karet, right? You do get malkut for it as well. Almana lekohen gadol, right? If a kohen gadol marries a almana, or girusha v'chalutza lekohen ediot, or girusha chalutza marries a kohen ediot marries a girusha chalutza. Almana u'grusha chavim alehem mishem shene shemot, right? Almana u'grusha, if a person married, kohen gadol married someone who was first widowed and then and then divorced, he's going to hayav too. Girusha v'chalutza, right? If a person married, the kohen gadol married someone who was divorced and also got halitza done to her, right? Instead of yibum, she got the halitza done, where the brother said, "I don't want to marry her," spit in front of her, and said, "I'm not going to marry." So it's a type of girushin, right? Halitza. It's really from the same subset. It's the same category. It's actually the derabanan of girushin. So therefore, eno hayav alea ela mishem echad bilvad. Will only be hayav one mitzvah lo ta'aseh, because he's really only violating one category of violating marrying a gerusha, and that's how our first Mishnah ends.